So the goals of this session are to choose appropriate session parameters, create and name tracks, recognize the difference between the playback cursor and edit cursor, navigate the session for playback and editing, save, locate, and open sessions on available hard drives. So we begin by covering something we just did in the last lesson, and that is to create new, and we go to this new session quick start menu, and we can see that we've got sessions which are local to your desktop and project, which are remote storage for sharing or collaborating, and we've got different templates, and we've got this box checked, create from template, but if we turn that off we can then create a blank session. In here where it says recent, this will show 10 of the most recent sessions, and what we're going to do is to create a blank session. We've got two file types, BWAV and AIFF. The default is BWAV. We've got our sample rates over here. We're at 44.1 to 96. Pro Tools goes up to 192. And obviously the higher the sample rate, the more disk space required. Input and output settings, well, make sure you check this before you start the session, because you never know if you're using a shared machine, you never know what the last person's been working on. They could have been doing surround or multi-track. So I'm going to choose stereo. The bit depths, we have three: 16-bit, 24-bit and 32-bit flows, so we'll just go with 24-bit. And just to give you some idea of file size, a mono 44.1 16-bit track is approximately 5 megabytes, and a mono 88.2 track 16-bit is about 10 megabytes. You don't really need to worry about storage these days, there's plenty going around. So if I just now create, and oh, by the way, the location is desktop, so if I click that I can change it to wherever I want it to be. I'll create, don't save my last project, blank session. I'm now going to add some tracks. I can go here, track, which is not being captured because my screen capture software doesn't allow me to capture these menus, but I've located the track and new. But the shortcut is Command Shift and N. So if I go Command Shift N, it brings up my new tracks window, and the default setting is to create one new mono audio track in samples. So if I did that, I create an audio track. I've got different track types though. I've got audio track, so used to import, record and edit audio signals as waveforms. I've got MIDI, used to import, record and edit MIDI and controller data, so there's no audio signal flow on that track. I have instrument, combines the functions of MIDI tracks and the auxiliary input track for instruments. And I have video, it's not showing here, but I have a video track, so I can add or import video. An auxiliary track used as effects returns, submixes, or to monitor and process live audio, or to generate audio using a virtual instrument plugin receiving MIDI input. A VCA master emulates voltage controlled amplifier channels. That used to be Pro Tools HD only, but seems to come as standard now. And a master fader used to control hardware output levels and bus pass levels. Over here, the time base, audio tracks are in samples by default, and MIDI instruments are in tick based by default. So I'm going to just create another MIDI track. If I want to name a track, I can double click here, the track name, double click that, and then I can name it. And if I want to name the next one, rather than OK, close, and go back over and double click. What I can do is just double click, name, go to next, name that, and carry on like that. It's much quicker. If I want to delete a track, I need to select the track and then choose track and delete. And this command cannot be undone, so be very careful. If I try to undo this now, I can't undo. So you don't want a scenario where you've just set up 16 tracks. They're all highlighted by default, and you come along and you accidentally go to track delete. You can't undo it. There's two ways of adding audio to a session. One is by recording and one is by importing. We have here this solid line. Let's just create some more tracks. We have this line here, which is our playback cursor, and it moves. It's a solid line that moves across the screen during playback, and it indicates the current playback point. I can also, you can see it flashing here, and that's where it will start from. So the flashing indicates the start point. So I've just imported some audio because I just wanted to demonstrate something. To set the playback point, I can just click here at the top and press play. I can, using my selector tool, I can just click on the audio file itself and play. But if I use the hand tool and select the audio, I'll play from the beginning. So I can select here and play. I can click on the waveform, or using the hand tool, select and it will play from the top. If I get to the end, I don't know if you saw that, but that was just a little blue arrow that appeared there, right at the end. So when the playback cursor goes off screen, this blue triangle in the main time-based ruler appears, and it'll turn red if there's an audio track enabled. So we need to look at our scrolling options, because at the moment there's no scrolling. So if we go to options and edit window scrolling, you can see there's no scrolling. If I go to continuous, then that should keep my cursor point in the middle. But then you get this at the very beginning of the song, because if the cursor's at the beginning here and it's in the middle, it means you get a big half a screen of nothing. So if you ever get that, that's because of the scrolling options. So you turn off scrolling and it won't scroll. Which you can zoom out like that if you need to. If I want to save a session, I go to File, Save, or Save As, so I can save a copy under a different name or a different location. If I want to open a file, I can open it from here, open session. I can close session without quitting Pro Tools and the shortcut for that is Command Shift and W. So if I close that, I can then keep Pro Tools open and then open another session, and I can also double click on a session's Pro Tools PTX file to open it.